Man, hey, look. Back in the day, that's what it was. People wanted to help you because they got in the party for you.
Yeah.
So, hey, Mike, you spending that? Hey, man, let me come help you. I always had a squad. Somebody was going to help, or sometimes, just be me by myself bringing the stuff in. But for majority, it was me and a couple of the guys. Now, when I was doing the stuff at the courtyard with George and George had a lot of nephews. So Christopher, Junior, all them, they would all help. So I always had help on deck because people wanted to go to the parties. And the way to get in the parties was either carry the DJ's records or the equipment. That's the way that we got people in the parties. All right, you carry this in, I'm gonna say you with me, you carrying this equipment, they're not gonna say nothing. Instead of you just walking in straight by yourself.
Right.
Man, hey, look. Back in the day, that's what it was. People wanted to help you because they got in the party for you.
Yeah.
So, hey, Mike, you spending that? Hey, man, let me come help you. I always had a squad. Somebody was going to help, or sometimes, just be me by myself bringing the stuff in. But for majority, it was me and a couple of the guys. Now, when I was doing the stuff at the courtyard with George and George had a lot of nephews. So Christopher, Junior, all them, they would all help. So I always had help on deck because people wanted to go to the parties. And the way to get in the parties was either carry the DJ's records or the equipment. That's the way that we got people in the parties. All right, you carry this in, I'm gonna say you with me, you carrying this equipment, they're not gonna say nothing. Instead of you just walking in straight by yourself.
Right. That's crazy. What and who were your early house music influences?
Several. One, I know I always get a little flack for this, but it's just ain't no way around it because he a part of my history, and that's Leonard remixing Roy. And it was Leonard, it was Farley, and believe it or not, it was Mickey mixing Oliver. Now, let me explain to you why everybody would be like, Mickey mixing Oliver, why would you like Mickey? And the reason I like Mickey is because Mickey edited stuff. And it wasn't so much of what he played, it was how he edited the record. So I wanted to learn, I always kept my ear to Mickey mixing Oliver when it was, BMX, Saturday Night Live, Ain't No Jive, Chicago Get Down Party, with Armando. So I would listen to him. Farley because, to us as DJs and probably a lot of party people, because I used to, before I was a DJ, I was a dancer. So I used to go to parties and dance, and I was in this dance crew called Bostage. And we would just go around to all the different places, and, back then, you had your dance crew and the whole nine like that. But I really wanted to be a spy guy at the time, because I used to go to Playground a lot, and I used to see the spy guys come in, and Jackie and all them, and I just used to be amazed. They would come in these long black coats, big riding boots, dark glasses, and every time Farley or Jesse would play spies at the playground, they would get on the floor and do this, you know what I'm saying? So I was into that. But what actually made me, like I said, Leonard Roy was the one, because I used to go to the rink zone all the time to go dancing. And then Leonard was just cold at it. And I actually got my hand on a cassette tape that he did when him and Farley were battling each other. And Leonard came on with this record, and it was like Farley, Funk and Keith. That's when he was Funk and Keith. Farley, Funk and Keith ain't got on me. Dude. Oh, I still remember because I used to listen to that tape. My grandma I used to live with grandma, so I wore the brown off the tape. That I played that tape so much because I studied it. And what I found out later is that was a edited record on this label, Big Apple. So, and that's the reason, and Leonard lost that battle only because he played that record. But Leonard was cold, like with the tricks and doing the backspins and the triples and the da, 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 ja, 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 ja. So he was somebody that from afar I always looked at like, man, dude is cold. He's the one that made me want to be a DJ. So, and then of course Farley, listening to him when you had your Walkman at lunchtime in the lunchrooms, and the mixes finna come on, the hot lunch mix.
A free hot lunch mix on 102.7 FM, BMX.
What they used to call I'm telling my age. The hot lunch mix used to come on, and I had to have that Walkman with me at all times. So yeah, it had to be Leonard, had to be Farley, and then later on it became Frankie. And how I got into Frankie is that my friend lived around the corner from me in Inglewood. His name was Todd. Now, Todd had older brother named John. And under me was another one of my good friends that my grandma lived in a building, which was the Fullers, which was Melvin Fuller. So Melvin had a big brother named Lynn. Lynn and John would go to the original warehouse on Jefferson all the time. And every time I would come over to get Todd so we can go out or play or walk around the neighborhood or anything like that, or to walk around the neighborhood, his brother would be playing this song. And I was like, man, what is, old girl sounds like she's drunk or about to die or something. And every time I would come over there, that song would be playing. And I hear, and I was like, what is she saying? And it was, is it all over my face? You got me love dancing. Is it up? And I was like, man, what is wrong with you? I come from Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what is this?
Is it all over my face? I'm in love dancing. Is it all over my face? You caught me love dancing. Is it all over my face? I'm in love dancing. And springing on the same.
And later I found out it was a cassette that Frankie had made for John. and John would play it all the time. So that's when I started becoming a Frankie fan. And then Hugo would go to the plant all the time. He would always try to get me to go with him. I would never go, but we would DJ parties in the neighborhood, and then after that, Hugo would get his stuff together and leave and go down to the plant. I would just stay chilling at my guys. We were all staying at my guys' house at the time, Reggie, and we would stay there. So yeah, those are the three biggest influences as far as me DJing and getting into the house music thing.